Namaste and good morning, everyone. Let's start our Sunday Gita class with some Gita Dhyanam. Om Parthaye Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayan Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitam Ritvarshinim Bhagavati Mashtadashadhyayami Am Tvam Anusandhami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadeshimi Namo Astu Te Vyas Vishal Buddhe Kul Arvind Ayat Patra Netar Ye Natavya Bharat Tail Purnaha प्रज्वलितो ज्ञान मया प्रदीपः प्रपन्न पारिजाताय स्तोत्र वेत्र एकपाने ज्ञान मुद्राय कृष्णाय गीता अमृत दुहे नमः सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपाल नंदना पार्थो वत्सा सुधीर भोगता दुग्धम गीता अमृतम महत वसुदेव सुतम देवम कंस चानूरमर्दनम देवकी परमानंदम कृष्णम वंदे जगद्गुरुम भीष्म द्रोण तथा जयद्रथ जला गांधार नीलोत्पला शल्य ग्राहवती कृपेन वहने कर्णेन वेलाकुला अश्वत्थाम विकर्ण घोर मकरा दुर्योधन अवर्तने सो तीर्णा खलु पांडवैरनदी कवर्तका केशवा पाराशरे वत्सरोजमलम गीता अर्थ गंधोटकम नानाख्यानक केसरम हरि कथा संबोधन अबोधितम लोके सज्जन षटपदय रह पे पिये मानम मुदा भूयाद भारत पंकजम कलिमल प्रध्वंसी न श्रेयसे मूकम करोति वाचालम पंगुम लंघ्यते गिरिम यत्कृपातमहं वंदे परमानंद माधवम यम ब्रह्म वरुण इंद्र रुद्र मरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यस्तवे वेदै सांग पद क्रम उपनिषदै गायन्ति यम सामगा ध्यानवस्थि तद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यम योगिनो यस्यन्तं न विदुसुर असुर गणा देवाय तस्मै नमः. Here we are on chapter number 11, Vishwarupa Darshan Yoga. Okay. In this chapter, Arjuna asked that you tell me that you are everywhere, but I don't see you. So Lord Krishna says, with these material eyes of yours, you cannot see me, even though I'm everywhere. Since you are so anxious and so qualified, I'll give you divine eyes. Divya Chaksha, Dadami Aham. So what we saw in this chapter, that not only Arjuna is seeing the Virat Roop of Lord Krishna, even Sanjay is seeing that Virat Roop Darshan too, because he is telling that blind king Dhritarashtra what Arjuna is seeing. So after seeing that Virat Roop, Arjuna started saying that I see all the gods, O God, in your body, and the hosts of various classes of beings, Brahma, the Lord of creation, seated on a lotus, all the rishis and celestial serpents also. So he says, I see everything in you. Then in verse number 16, he says, I see your boundless form on every side, with the numerous arms, stomachs, mouths, and eyes. Neither your end, nor the middle, nor also the beginning do I see. O Lord of the universe, O cosmic form. Then in verse number 17, he gives us a hint that what this form is. It's a Vishnu form. I see you with crown, club, and discus, a mass of radiance, shining everywhere, very hard to look at, all around, blazing like burning fire and sun, and incomprehensible. Cannot comprehend it. So this is where we ended our last week's class. So let's see what else Arjuna is saying after visualizing the cosmic form with his divine eyes, given by the grace of God. Number 18. Tvam aksharam paramam vedityam Tvam asya vishwasya param nidhanam. Tvam avyah shashvat dharma goptaha sanatanaha tvam purushaha matame. Tvam means you, aksharam, imperishable. Paramam, the supreme, like a supreme being. Veditvam, worthy to be known. Tvam means you, asya, of this, vishwasya, of universe. Param, the great, nidhanam, treasure house. Second line, Tvam means you, avyaha, imperishable. Shashvat dharma goptaha, protector of the eternal dharma. Sanatanaha, ancient. Tvam means you, purushaha. Mataha, opinion. Me means mine. So Arjuna is saying, you are the imperishable. That means which cannot be ended. The supreme being worthy to be known. You are the great treasure house of this universe. You are the imperishable protector of the eternal dharma. In my opinion, you are the ancient Purush. See, from all the experiences which we had, we try to gather our own conclusion. That's what an intelligent person does. Through the experiences, we draw a conclusion. So over here, Arjun had a great experience, which is too subtle to express in words, or even for his intellect to comprehend in all its entirety. But even then, from what he saw, he's trying to draw a certain conclusion. So according to his conclusion, he says the power behind the cosmic form is that which is the imperishable supreme truth. This is what you are. So in other words, Lord is the substratum for all this world. The Vishwa. He uses the word Vishwasya, of the universe. Universe is not merely the universe of the physical things. Remember that. Vishwa is a sum total experience of everyone gained through the individual instruments of perception, feelings, and understanding. Remember that. That is called a Vishwa. So Lord is the foundation for the entire universe of disturbances experienced by us at our physical, mental, and intellectual level. Without that, we cannot experience anything. So Arjuna is declaring here that he who has transformed himself into this Vishwarupa, this one form, is the changeless truth. And this changeless truth permeates the entire realm of changes and the modifications. That's what he's saying over here. You are the imperishable protector or a deathless guardian of the eternal dharma. There's no end of you. The term eternal dharma guardian, Shashvat Dharma Gopta, it's like it is a blend to this word. Guardian of the eternal dharma, you can say, or the eternal guardian of dharma, you can say that also. Or eternal guardian of the eternal dharma. So it's not a religion which he's talking about. He's talking about the eternal truth, which applies to everybody in the entire universe. So the divine self or the soul is the true nature of us. And the God is the eternal and all-pervading. That's what Sanatana Dharma says. The eternal truth. And what is our goal? As human beings, our goal is to know this eternal truth. That is our goal. And he says that you are the ancient Purush. So that means that conscious principle, which is the spark of life in everyone, is indicated by this very eternal truth, which alone can take up the form of the universe. And it's standing right in front of Arjuna right now. And that's why he's using all those terms just to understand it all. Then he says in verse number 19, Anadi madhye antam anant viryam anant bahum shashi surya netram pashyami tvam deepta hutashvaktram swatejasa vishwam idam tapantam. Anadi madhye antam, without beginning, middle, or end. Anant viryam, infinite in power. Virya means power. Anant bahu, endless arms. Shashi surya netram, the sun and the moon as your eyes. Pashyami, I see. Tvam means you. Deepta hutash vaktram, the burning fire of your mouth. Swatejasa, with your own radiance. Vishwam, the universe. Idam means this. Tapantam, heating. I see you without beginning, middle, or end. So it's like in the form which he is seeing, he doesn't see the beginning, middle, or end. It is so vast. Infinite in power, of infinite arms, the sun and the moon being your eyes, the burning fire your mouth, heating the whole world, the whole universe with your own radiance. You don't have to borrow the radiance to give it to somebody. Your own radiance. Swatejasa. So Arjuna is continuing the description of the infinite as he can comprehend it. So his own intellect is interpreting it. So I see you without beginning, middle, or end. Infinite power, infinite arms. So this is the universal self. It's standing right in front of him. And infinite arms really means that the supreme self as the dynamic life. Because in our life, the dynamism is from the arms. We work with the arms. So one essential strength behind every hand that acts. That's his power. And the sun and the moon being your eyes. Sun and the moon together represent the source of the entire light energy. For us human beings, during the daytime, we see the sun. At night, we see the moon. So sun and moon as your eyes. So it's like representing the source of all light. And the moon is representing all the reflected or otherwise conditioned lights also. Because moon doesn't have any of its own light. It's a reflected light. Burning fire your mouth. Here fire has been considered as the principle behind the speech. And the principle governing the taste also. The fire. And the mouth being the seat for the both the instruments of speech and taste, the mouth of the Vishwarupa is explained here as fire. And heating the whole universe with your own radiance. So the light of consciousness not only illumines but also imparts the warmth of the life to the entire universe. So the light that is emanating from truth is its own light, Swatejasa, not something which has been derived from any other source. Swatejasa. So now let's look at the next verse because Arjuna is continuing. Dhyava prithivya idam antaram hi vyaptam tavya eken disha cha sarvaha drishtvaha adbhutam rupam ugram tav idam lok trayam pravyathitam mahatmana dhyava prithivya, of heaven and earth. Idam means this, antaram, the interspace. He indeed, vyaptam, are filled. Tavya, by you, eken, alone, disha, quarters, cha means and, sarva means all. Drishtva, having seen, adbhutam, wonderful. Rupam, form, ugram, terrible. Tav means your, idam, this, lok trayam, the three worlds. Pravyathitam, or trembling with fear. Mahatman, great souled being. This space between the earth and the heavens, and all the quarters, that means all the directions, filled by you alone. So that means there's no space where God is not. You alone. Having seen this, your wonderful and terrible form, the three worlds are trembling with fear. O great souled being. So this is the truth which is being apprehended by Arjuna, is pervading the entire world of objects and even the concepts of time and space are not independent of this truth. So the theme which is being described over here, we should not forget that the infinite, the eternal, that's what God is. So that's why he says, by you alone, the space between the heaven and the earth and all the quarters of the sky is pervaded. Everywhere, there's no place where God is not. This is the concept of universal oneness. That's why I always tell you, Gita teaches us, even in this diversity, there's a unity. And unity is at the level of the essence. If you move away from the essence, sure, we see only diversity. And through diversity, there are agitations. Through unity, there is peace. So Gita takes us to this peace. The more we realize it, the more we get staggered at the immensity of it all. That God is everywhere. There's no place where God is not. So seeing this marvelous and awful form. Why awful? Because so big, so vast. Numerous mouths, numerous eyes, numerous hands. Sure, for a person who has seen only in a human form, 2 eyes, 1 head, 2 arms, so many, does look awful. So that's why he says the worlds are trembling. So over here is like a psychologically truth he's mentioning over here. We look at the world through the windows of our mind. As our mind is, so the world to us. So we'll see that Arjuna is also trembling in the future verses. So Arjuna felt staggered, trembling in himself when he looked at the world in that mental condition. And he saw that others are also like that too. So Rishi Vyasa, he's not forgetting the fundamental behavior in human beings over here. We see the world through our own mind. Verse number 21. Amihi tvam sursangha vishanti kechit bhita pranjalyaha grinati swasti iti uktvaha maharishi siddhsanga stuvanti tvam satutibhi pushkalabhi. Ami means these. He means verily. Tvam, you, Sur Sangha, hosts of Devas. Sur Sangha. See, Sur means Devdas. Vishanti, enter. Kechit, some. Bhita, fear. Pranjalyaha, with the joined palms. It's like an Anjali. That's like put your hands together. Grinati, praise. Swasti, may it well be. Iti means thus, Uktva, having said, Maharishi Siddha Sangaha. Bands of great rishis and siddhs. Stuvanti, praise. Tvam means you. Stuti bhi, with hymns. Pushkala bhi, sublime. Verily into you enter these hosts of devatas. Some praise you in fear with joined palms. May it be well. Thus saying, bands of great rishis and siddhs praise you with hymns sublime. So over here we see that Arjuna is describing the movements and the actions that he is observing in that cosmic form of the Lord. Okay? So because everything is in him, all the devatas are there too, all the rishis are there too, siddhs are there too in that form. They are not out of his form. They are inside his form. And some of them, they are waiting, watching. Sure, there is a moment of panic also. What's really happening? Because whenever there's a threat, we do become fearful. So that's why I said this is a psychological truth Vyasa is describing, which Arjuna is feeling. So he says, bands of great rishis and perfected men who are not at all perturbed by the vision of this totality. Because they have risen, they have evolved to that level where they see this cosmic form, they are not perturbed. But some others are perturbed. Because they have attained this superhuman tranquility and inward peace arising from their own wisdom. These siddhs, these maharishi. That's why he used the word sublime hymns of glory. For them, it's beautiful. They can understand it. They can see the beauty in it, but others are fearful of it. Because these rishis, they realize in their wisdom that the face of the cosmos assumes such a terrible ferocity only when there's a need for the reconstruction. There's a different form at the time of the construction, and the same form assumes a different form during a reconstruction. So these wise people, they know that. They know nothing is lost, even during these terrible times. Destruction is only part of the construction. Then he says in verse number 22, Rudra Adityaha Vasvaha Yecha Sadhya Vishve Ashvino Marutach Ushmapach Gandharav Yaksh Asur Siddha Sangha Vikshantehe Tvam Vismitach Eva Sarve. Rudra Aditya, Rudras and Adityas. And we learned these terms in the last chapter also. Vasvaha, Vasus. Ye means those. Cha means and. Sadhyas, the Siddha. Vishve, Vishvadeva. Ashvino, the two Ashwin Kumars. Maruta, the Maruts. Cha means and. Ushmapa, Ushmapa is Pitris, the ancestors. Cha means and. Gandharav, Yaksh, Asur, Siddha, Sangha. So Sangha means a host, so like many of them. So hosts of Gandharavs, Yaksh, Asurs and Siddhs. Vikshantehe are looking at. Tvam means you. Vismata, astonished. Cha means and. Ev even survey all. The Rudras, Adityas, Vasus, Sadhyas Vishwa Devas, Ashwins, Maruts, Ushmapa, hosts of Gandharvas, Yaksh, Asurs, and Siddhs, they're all looking at you, all quite astonished. So this is the continuation of the description. Arjun says that all of them are looking at you. They're gazing at you. This mysterious form. These are the deities who are all lords of the phenomena. All of them. Rudra also, Aditya also, Vasus also. These lords or the Devtas, they have been worshipped and revered by the generation of the Vedic period. And Arjun was very much familiar with these deities. So that's why he's looking at those. So he says, even they are looking at the universal form. So even though these are Devtas, people worship them, but God is higher than them. God is the one who has bestowed the power to these Devtas. That's why they are standing struck with wonder and astonishment, vismita, and astonished. So the spirits of destruction, those are the Rudras. Aditya is the sun. Vasu, the lord of the seasons, we know that. The spirits of the sky. Vishwadeva, those are also other godly powers. Normally we say it like a lesser gods or devtas of the pranas. Ashwin, the horsemen twins. Maruts, the storm land. And Ushmapa, the heat. Something is this a word used for the Pitres? Okay, Ushmapa. And we are familiar with the Gandharva, Yaksh, Asur, Siddhs. So they are all quite astonished. This verse may not be appealing to us today, because all of these names are very strange to us. We are not familiar with it. But if you have studied the Puranas, then you are familiar with these terms. So as Arjun was a student of the Vedas, he was naturally well versed in the Vedic thoughts, and this was his vocabulary. So that's why he is using this vocabulary. It's very, very common to him. So we got to just understand it from these verses that Arjun is seeing that everything is part of Lord. That's how we should understand it. Next two verses, again, he's just explaining what he is seeing. Rupam, this is verse number 23. Rupam mahatte bahu vaktra netram mahabaho bahu bahu rupadam bahu udram bahu danshraha karalam drishtvaha loka pravyathita tatha aham. Rupam, form, mahat, immeasurable. Te means here, bahu vaktra netram, with many mouths and eyes. Mahabaho, O mighty armed. Bahu bahuru padam, with many arms, thighs and feet. Bahu udram, with many stomachs. Bahu danshtraha karalam, fearsome, with many tusks. Drishtvaha, having seen, lokaha, the worlds, pravyathitaha, are terrified. Tatha means also, aham means I. So he's talking about him also now. Having seen your immeasurable form, with many mouths and eyes, O mighty armed, with many arms, thighs and feet, with many stomachs and fearsome, with many tusks, the worlds are terrified. And so am I too. Continuation of this with the next verses. Nabha sabdrisham deeptam anek varnam Vyatananam deept vishal netram drishtva hi tvam pravyathit antratma dhritim na vindami shamam cho Vishnu. Nabha saprisham, touching the sky. Nab means sky. Deeptam, flaming or shining. Anek varnam, in many colors. Varn means color. Vyapnanam, with mouth wide open. Deept vishal netram, with large fiery eyes. Drishtva, having seen. He means verily, tvam you. Pravyathit antaratma, terrified at heart. So antaratma means the subtle body. Dhritim, courage. Na means not. Vindami, I find. Shamam, peace. Cha means and. Vishnu, oh Vishnu. He says, on seeing you, with your form touching the sky, flaming in many colors, with the mouth or mouths wide open, with the large fiery eyes. I am terrified at heart, and I find neither courage nor peace, O Vishnu. So we can see that this vision is so uncommon. It's marvelous also, because it's radiant, but at the same time, it's awful also. So this is what Arjuna is experiencing. Because normally he saw his cousin or his guru right now, maybe a 6 feet tall human being, beautiful human being, localized form. It's not the same form anymore. It is so big, wide and varied, extending almost to the frontiers of all pervading. So that's why he says that I cannot understand it, and I'm terrified. And he also says the entire world is terrified too, not just me alone. I mean, we can imagine that the vision is definitely capable of unnerving even the gods. So that's why he's confessing here too. I am terrified at heart in the second verse, and I find neither courage nor peace. It is very significant here that in this condition, Arjuna is addressing the cosmic vision, O Vishnu. Before that, he knew that he's my cousin. Then he said, okay, you're my guru. But now he's seeing him as Vishnu. The Vishnu appears in the Vedic literature, where it is used in its meaning as one having long strides. That's a Vishnu. The measure between the 2 feet when one walks is called the stride. But the all-pervading infinite, if it were to take its longest stride, should be from the beginningless to the endless. That is the stride of Vishnu. So that is the term of Vishnu is implied here. All-pervading with one stride from beginningless to endless. Let's look at next verse. Verse number 25. Danshtraha kralani chate mukhani drishtvaha ev kal anal sanibhani disha na jane na labhe ch sharma prasid devesh jagat nivas. Danshtraha kralani, fearful with tusks. Cha means and, te means your. Mukhani, mouths. Drishtva, having seen. Ev means even. Kal is the time. Anal sanibhani, blazing like pralya fires. Disha, the 4 quarters. Na jane. Na means not, jane means no. Na labhe, not find. Labhe means find, like I find. Cha means and, sham means peace. Proceed, be gracious. Proceed. This word is from Prasad, the grace. Devesh, O Lord. Jagat Nivas, O abode of the universe. Arjuna is saying, having seen your mouths, fearsome with tusks, blazing like pralya fires. I know not the four quarters, nor do I find peace. Be gracious, O Lord of the Devtas, O abode of the universe. So seeing the universal form, terrible with tusks, threatening as the fires of the deluge, Arjuna is confessing that I have lost my sense of direction. That's what it really means, disha na jane. I don't know what to do. I feel no peace. When the intellect comes to comprehend such a vast field, and that also all of a sudden, the very magnitude of it smothers all powers of discrimination. It really benumbs the individual for a moment. It's almost like in a chaotic condition of confusion is being expressed by Arjuna here. I do not know the directions. And this is not all, nor do I find peace here. So in such a condition of extreme wonderment, that his physical might, because he was powerful, his mental capacity, his intellectual subtleties, all, both individually and in their aggregate. So these are like a vehicles, he doesn't know what to do with them. That's why he says, I don't know what to think and I don't feel peaceful. So that's why it's almost like at that time, what do? You pray. Prayer is the only resort at that time. That's why towards the end, he says, be gracious. That is the prayer. Be gracious, O Lord. You are the abode of the universe. Jagat Nivasa, Prasad Devesh Jagat Nivasa. I really cannot control myself. I don't know what to do. I am so terrified. Please have grace on me. Take care of me. This particular section, starting with the verse 21, is mainly for reassuring Arjuna of the success that is yet to come in the future for himself and his army. That was the intention. But he got terrified over here because it just came all of a sudden to him. He just doesn't know what to do. He says, I don't feel peaceful. Let's look at next two verses, then we'll stop the class here, and next time we'll start with verse number 28. Arjuna is still speaking. Ami cha tvam dhritarashtrasya putraha sarve sah ev avnipal sanghe bhishma dronaha sud putra tatha asau sah asmadiye api yodh mukhya. Ami means these, cha means and, tvam means you. Dhritarashtrasya, of Dhritarashtra. And we know that Dhritarashtra is that blind king of Hastinapur. Putraha, sons, sarve all, saha means with, ev means even. Of Nepal, sanghe, hosts of kings of the earth. Bhishma Drona, Bhishma is Bhisham Pitama, Drona is Dronacharya, the teacher. Sud Putra, that is a Karan, son of the charioteer, Sudputra. Tatha means also, Asau means this, Saha means with, Asmadeh, with those of ours. Api means also, Yodh Mukhya, with the warrior chiefs. All the sons of Dhritarashtra, with hosts of kings of the earth. Bhishma, Drona, and the son of the charioteer Karan, with the warrior chiefs of ours. What is happening to these? That is mentioned in the next verse. Vaktarane tetvarmanaha vishanti danshtraha kralani bhyanakani kechit vilangnaha dashan antareshu sadrishyante churnite uttam ange. Vaktarane, mouths. Te means your. Tvarmanaha, hurrying. Vishanti, enter. Danshraha kralane, terrible toothed. Bhyanakane, fearful to behold. Ke chit, some. Vilagnaha, sticking. Dashan antareshu, in the gaps between the teeth. Sa drishyante, are found. Churnite, crushed to powder, churn. Uttam ange, with their heads. Into your mouths, with the terrible teeth, and fearful to behold. They enter in a hurry. Some are found sticking in the gaps between the teeth with their heads crushed into powder. So this is what he is seeing in that Virata robe. We all know on the face of universe, wherever there is existence, it's nothing but a repetition of constant change. And change can be interpreted either in the terms of constant creation with regard to the products made, or as a process of constant destruction with regard to the raw material that changed. Arjun's words are very significant. He does not see the universal form itself devouring the names and forms. He is observing that all names and forms are entering in haste into God's mouth. So it's not that God is killing them, they are entering there. So this is what he is watching over here. All the sons of Dhritarashtra, with the hosts of kings of earth, because we all know that how vast the army was, both sides, 11 Akshani and 7 Akshani. And we all know how big the Akshani is. Then Bhisham Pitama also, Dronacharya also, Karan also, sons of Dhritarashtra also, and with others. And some of the chiefs from his army also. So this not only frightened Arjuna and unnerves him, but also gives him a confidence to look ahead actually. That was the intention. Because Arjuna's army was a lot smaller. In a way, it was inferior if you look at those great chiefs on the other army. So the vision which he saw was in fact a peep into the future. But the whole thing was so unnerving for Arjuna. He just could not keep his mind calm. Because Arjuna saw in that picture the past merging with the present and moving forward to mingle with the entire future. In next verse, he's giving us analogy. What is he seeing? Because I just mentioned it to him. It's not that the cosmic form is devouring them. No, they are just entering into the cosmic form. So that's what we'll see next week. How do they really enter that mouth hurriedly? So in a purely scientific approach, Arjuna is made to express all the details, even if they be pretty gruesome actually, whatever he's explaining to us. That even the head, see Uttamang means the head. So even heads are being crushed into the mouth, the teeth or the tusks of Lord. So let's stop it here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Visheshyate. Om Shanti 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 Om. Thank you very much.